Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. This is Coach Ty back for another episode of Single and the Coach. I am the coach.
And I am the single, Simplee Bree.
And we have part of the He Said What network from the Men Unpack podcast, Coach Chris joining us today.
Yeah, man. What's up, good people? This your good brother, Coach Chris, and I'm all things community, all things conversation. And I've seen these two dope sisters on YouTube, and I'm like, yo, I love what they present. And I'm like, how can I get on and like mix and mingle with them, man? So I'm here for a dope conversation. I do pray you guys enjoy it. Yeah, let's have some fun.
Yay, excited to have Coach Chris here. Yeah. So, we talk a lot about relationships and dating, and it's me and Bree from, we try to put in male perspective as much as we can when we're talking to each other, but it's nice to actually have male energy that we can tap into in real time. So, thank you, Coach Chris, for joining us. What we're going to decode today is situationships. Now, you've all heard of it. We're going to talk about it, give it a definition, and really understand situation to be, right? And who benefits from a situation, if any. Maybe you are in a situationship. We don't know. So maybe this conversation can kind of help you navigate that world if you ever thought, am I in one? Or maybe you thought about getting into one. So maybe that'll help you. Before we get started, I kept bumping into this video of this young man who plays a prank on people in the grocery store. So I'm going to play this video, and then Bree and Coach Chris, I want to get your comments and thoughts about this. All right, so let's play it.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm fine.
You good?
Yep.
Help about what? You ain't mentally retarded. What you need help her for?
I was in over toy.
Help her what? What? No. What do you want? Man, I was on the doggone phone. No.
You know what? Actually, so this is the video. I actually want to play another one. So Bree, I just do another one. Same concept, but it didn't get that. But I do want to play another one. Actually, now that I played, sorry. So that after this one, we could talk about it. There are different ways that men react in this scenario. So I think the other one was another way, but still, it was much. It was a little much. So this young man does that a lot in different spaces, mostly grocery stores, and basically just bringing women, just bringing forward to the concept that when women are, this is what I see. Now I'm telling you my perspective, because I still want to hear y'all's but after the second video. But I think he brings out the issue of a woman doing it for herself, a man standing there not helping. And what does that do when she realizes somebody else will help her, right? B, he realizes somebody else will help her, right? And another perspective is like, what is that comes out of a man, right? With we saw this man get hot, right? And it was
The whole hand.
yeah. So it was hot. But I see the video is up, so let's watch the second one, and then I will hush and hear what you both have to say.
Hey, why you shaking your head? Are you all right?
She was just accepting the hope that she had. That was it.
I mean, you ain't helping. Can you on the head? All right.
Hey, what's wrong?
Vice cool. You good, bro. We good.
You sure you good?
Yeah, we good.
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It was just a prank.
He needs some milk.
Now I want your thoughts. I want your talk. So we're gonna let our guests go first.
Oh, man. I'm talking in the hot seat already. So that was good, both of them. I enjoyed that. I like that. Listen, as a man, I get it. Let me start right here. So I'm born and raised in Texas, Dallas, Texas, and I moved to Boston 8 years ago. And moving up here in the Northeast, it was a culture shock. Like the women up this way, I love them, but super independent, super strong. I mean, they don't want nobody holding the door, for opening the door, holding the door, none of that. And it blew my mind. And I'm like, I received so many mean mugs, so much, evil eyes, so many hateful eyes or whatever. But I never moved off my square because I'm like, I was raised to be a man and I was raised, a certain type of mannerism. You see a woman coming, hold the door open for her. But, so with that said, and have gotten off of their square. Like I've never gotten off of my square. I never switched up. I never changed. If you're in the grocery store with your lady and you see her lifting something heavy up, I'm like, bro, that's when you're supposed to interject and step in and be like, baby, I got that right there, man. I hate to say it, but a lot of my brothers have gotten a little lazy when it comes to our manhood. We done got a little weak and complacent when it comes to our relationships. It's a bad look right there. And when another man steps in, it's like, bro, that ain't really that. Ain't, I mean, it is the time, but that's not the time for you to be like, okay, this is my woman, this is my relationship. Back up. Nah, fam, you supposed to already been laid a dope foundation for your woman. You should have been already, put in the place of, feeling love and comfort and all of that. That wasn't the play rate there, man. So that was an embarrassment. Although it was a prank, it was funny, but at the same time, it does expose a lot. Like men have gotten complacent in their manhood. It's like we letting women do all the work, or most of the work, or a lot of the heavy lifting, and that shouldn't even be the case. But I do want to touch on this too, if I got a little time. At the same time, the women let men be the men. Let a man be a man. Sometimes some women do so much to where it makes a man feel like there's no need for 'em. And I do see men, they pull back and it's like, okay, she don't need me. So it's like, I'm just gonna pull back. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. Women, please let a man be a man because we need that. I don't know if it's an ego boost. I don't know if it's just want to feel secure in our manhood, but that's golden. Let a man be a man.
Yeah. That was amazing. Chris. So I am from the North. So I get exactly what Chris is referring to when he says how he has experienced a lot of independent women up in the Northeast, because that is how I was raised in a sense. And I was raised in a two-parent household. So it's not like, oh, I didn't have my father around and all of this stuff. No, I was taught how to do things for myself. And yes, of course, let a man be the man, but at the same time, if there is no man, someone has to step in. I can't sit here and stand at the door and wait for somebody to open the door. Like, it doesn't work that way. But when it comes to the videos, what I find interesting, especially with the second video and even with the first video, is why do you need to know my name? Like, I appreciate you doing a grand gesture, helping me. That's nice and everything. But then when you start asking for your name and, trying to have little conversation and my guy is right there, granted, yeah, he ain't helped me, but he's still there. It's like I have to carry a form of respect for my relationship and for my man, because the minute that I sit here and I start chit chatting with this guy, I'm opening the door and I'm showing this stranger that he could potentially have the ability to sit here and possibly pull me in front of my guy. Now, if the guy wasn't there, that's a whole different situation, but I feel like that's a form of disrespect to your relationship and to the person that you're with. We don't know the dynamic that they have in their relationship. We don't know if she wants to do certain things and express her own independence in a relationship. And he's like, all right, cool. We don't know that. We just know what we see in the video. I definitely agree. Let a man be a man. Honey, I'm not trying to pick up nothing. If I got a man and that's the energy that we have, just let me push the card, Or when it comes to the heavy things, get it. I don't want you to be in your phone and, I'm over here struggling now. Somebody else wants to step in. But I just feel like it's a double-edged sword because, yes, we are hyper independent at times. And it's, I think, challenging to adjust once you are in a relationship and allow that person to help you. So this guy is going to get his tail kicked one day. Ain't no, and then it's the way that he's coming up on him. You coming up on a backside, like as you're helping. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
All right. Well, agreed with all of you. I thought this was a funny video. So, hopefully some of those relationships will go back and the men will kind of change their ways and, the women will react differently, kind of like the way you mentioned, Bree. So, interestingly enough, like I'm just throwing it out there, bringing it kind of gonna bring it into our topic today. So, what if you were in one of those pranks, but you were in a situationship? But no, seriously, we're gonna segue into talking about situationships. And so, I'll start with the definition of what a situationship is. So, most of you probably already know, but it's a situationship is described as a romantic or sexual relationship that lacks clarity, defined labels, commitment, or a shared future trajectory. All right. So it lacks clarity. It has no labels, defined labels, no commitment, and no shared future trajectory. So, situationships, let's start there. Has anyone ever been in one?
I think I've been in one. I would call that a cuddy buddy.
Buddy, okay.
Where there is no true commitment to one another. It's strictly intimacy. Trajectory is non-existent. And I feel like it served its purpose. I had an itch. He had the claws to scratch. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. I feel like with a cuddy buddy, as long as you have that communication where you know this is it, this is what we're doing, there is no gray area. It's only when you go into it with the understanding that, oh, we're getting to know each other with the intent of pursuing a long-term relationship, now you're confusing people. But if you go in knowing, hey, this is the only thing that I'm looking for, are you okay? And they say yes, you're on the same page. So that's what I can think of.
Okay. That brings it interesting because while you were talking, I would define a cuddy buddy, as you put it. I would say a cuddle buddy because cuddy doesn't come out of my mouth easily. A cuddle buddy, when you have a cuddle buddy or, someone that just provides the scratch to your itch, or let's just say sex, just a sexual relationship with someone. We call that friends with benefits, right? That's what we call that. I think, and Chris, you can tell me, I think that is different from a situationship. Because of friends with, or is it the same? In my head, it's different because with a friends with benefits, there is a label there. It's we're friends, and then there's a clarity there that says sex. So you are a friend that I'm having sex with, right? With a situationship, it's like the situation. To me, a situationship is a little different. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Do y'all see what I mean, though? The difference between a cuddle buddy or friends with benefits and a situationship?
First response. See him. Friends with benefits and a cuddy buddy are not the same. Cuddy buddy is strictly intimacy. We're not hanging out. We're not going to catch a movie, going to the games. It is literally demon time. Come over. There's no friendship there.
Okay. So there's clarity on the only thing we do is have sex.
Intimate. Yeah.
Okay. So there's at least one part of it, right? That's clear. That's it. But we're not friends.
Yeah, we're not friends. We're not going to be on the phone talking, texting, hey, how's your day going, and all of that stuff. Because that leads to confusion right there.
Interesting.
Okay. Let Chris go.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. And I feel like, friends with benefits, this is where, hey, you want to go to the movies? That's where it comes in, talking on the phone, texting or whatever, playing around on Facebook, liking each other's comments and posts and interacting there. And yeah, it is the sexual part as well. I feel like friends with benefits fulfill all of that. I could be wrong, but I think that's like a step under an actual relationship. Just my humble opinion. Now, situationship, man, hearing that definition, I'm like, yo, dang, this is like kind of close to an on-call hooker. You know what I mean? Like, no clarity. What is this? No clarity, no labels, no commitment. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this sounds like a, on-call hooker, and everybody is just, a on-call hooker and the gigolo. They do their thing or whatever. So yeah, I feel like they're all different. Some moments might intertwine here and there, but I feel like both situationship, friends with benefits, and cuddy buddy, all of those are different, man, and have their own, separate purposes.
Interesting. Okay.
Bree, my bad. That's another. My apologies. I'm like Bree. I had a friends with benefits back in the day in my 20s, and it was cool. You know what I mean? It's like, I ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing. Let's mix and mingle for the night or whatever, man. So yeah, man. Never had a situation still, but a friends with benefits. That was solid work. That was good.
Okay. All right. So let's go into because some of it may have pros to it. Let's start with pros, right? So there can be some pros with we're going to say friends with benefits. Well, situationships. We've identified like situationship and friends with benefits are the same. So what are some of the pros, if any, with this type of relationship?
Yeah, man. It's like, yo, the life coach. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say the life coach here, man, wanted to say, listen, there are no pros, man. Ain't no pros in no situationship. But I mean, given, where you at in life, what you really want, and we ain't finna shame or judge nobody, but depending on where you at in life, it can be some pros. Like I said, a lot of people nowadays they ain't looking for no labels. Some individuals, they've been married for 20 years, got divorced, so much more, man. And they're like, yo, I'm not really looking for anything serious at the moment. So I'm like, some dudes, they might meet a lady, she might meet a man. And like, listen, I'm going through the exact same thing you going through. I'm not looking for no commitment. I ain't looking for no labels. I just want a good time. And in a situationship, I do feel like you can have that good time, whatever it is you're looking for in that moment, as long as like Bree said, like as long as it's clarity, like it's some upfront, there's no gray areas, you're not crossing those boundaries or whatever. It can work for those people that want it.
Yeah.
Got it.
What was there?
Yeah. All right. So the pros, I love what you said, Chris, and this is why having a life coach is so dope here. Because I love what you said when you said it depends on where you are in life. And I think that is definitely key for a pro. With friends with benefits. A lot of the time, those type of relationships are often easier to manage and be in when you're younger, when you're in an in-between place in either your life, your career, your like where a relationship is not at the forefront, but you're still like a human being. You still have needs, I think those, if you ever find yourself in those two places in your life, then I can definitely say like that's all you can handle, right? Because it's just very like one goal, right? And that's it. So that could be a pro. It's clear in the sense of like there's only one thing we're doing and nothing else. Everything else is just like we go about our own life, and there's no commitment to you, me, da da da. Like I don't have to think about it. It is so. I think depending on, again, going back to what you said, Chris, depending on where you are in your life, situationship may be a pro for you to get into. All right. What are other pros?
I feel like with
Yeah, other thoughts.
situationships, I thought earlier, I thought I was in a situationship, but then when you read the definition, I was like, oh no, I'm not in a situationship. But I do feel like with situationships, there's also the pro of you are not in a rush for commitment, so you can genuinely build that connection. I feel like when dating, it gets tricky anyways, because yes, a lot of people want to be in a relationship, and so they will bypass a lot of flags. They'll bypass a lot of things that probably are giving them warnings to abort mission. But because they're so focused on long-term relationship, they're willing to make every and anything work. But when you are in a situationship and you're taking your time, you get to see a lot of different things and determine whether or not that's worth putting up with, if that's worth dealing with. Is this someone that you truly want to pursue further while you don't have a commitment to them? Do you still want to go out into the streets and pursue other people? So there's no feeling bad, I guess you can say. You can't feel bad when you're in a situationship because you don't belong to them. They don't belong to you. Like, you guys are free agents. I definitely agree with enjoying the vibe with no pressure. Y'all both know what it is. You've had that discussion. I feel like situationships get tricky when it's one-sided, where you think you guys on the same page, but you're really not. And it comes in handy when you are goal focused. Like if you're an entrepreneur and right now you don't have the capacity to invest emotionally into a relationship, but you are able to at least spend time with this person from here to here, check in with them, they check in with you. You guys have some form of alignment, then it can work. At the end of the day, it's all about the communication that you have with the person you're in this relationship, situationship, whatever with. It's the communication. It's how it works for the both of you and how you make it work.
Yeah. Agreed. So that's pro number 2 that I took from you, Bree. Very like super like dope thought that you brought there. So y'all always hear me talk about the slow burn.
Mhm.
A slow burn, right? So if done right, a situationship can, like Bree said, you said, help you build that connection. So if done right, you're with someone, you get to see with no pressure, with no commitment, get to see them and see if, hey, I actually wouldn't mind going further with this person, or I get to see that person in there because usually, the first 3 months of a relationship, we're our best selves. So usually you get to see like so a situationship, because there are no commitments, no nothing, the chances of that person showing their true self super early might work out in your favor to say, maybe I don't want to deal with this. Yeah, I actually really just realize I only like the sex because I don't like anything else about her, or him. Or it may say, it may make you say, actually really like her a lot more than when she actually leaves. I miss her. Or when he doesn't call me, that bothers me. So I probably want a little bit more. This is where we get to the con part, but it gives you. But I'm gonna stay in the pro. We gotta stay in the pro. We gotta stay in the pro. But it does give you that time if you're busy, if you've got life changes, and this is the only the capacity that you have to just do this one thing, and you're someone that's already a slow burner. There's a lot of women that I work with specifically that have just been so traumatized by whatever happened, right? That they could only take a slow walk with a guy, easy peasy. And so that might work for them too. So I like those. We got depending on where your life is, it might work. No commitment, no pressure. It may help with the slow burn to build a connection. So those are the two. Any other pros for a situationship? Don't worry, y'all. We're not gonna lead you. I feel like Coach Chris is like, Lord, we telling these people to come.
I mean,
It's like, no
yeah. Again, we ain't judging nobody, no, are we shaming? I was about to say, and listen, I might get some pushback for it too, somebody see this video, but I'm like, we do need to normalize, sexuality. You know what I mean? Who said the human element? I think that was you, Todd, that said that, that, I mean, human emotions and feelings, they do kick up sometimes. It's like, yo, I need to give one off. And I mean, it do be that way sometimes. And so I mean, a pro would be that, when you're comfortable with your sexuality, those sexual feelings and all of that good stuff, I'm like, hey, it is what it is, man. You got to get one off. So be it. So that is a pro. And I mean, I do feel like, if you're not looking for nothing serious, look, AIDS is crazy, HIV and all this other stuff. People, sleeping around, and it's wild out here. So a pro is, I'm like, yo, if you got a solid individual, you know what I mean? You know what y'all about is just strictly sex. That's peace right there. I'm like, okay, I can go to this person and I know, they ain't got nothing or whatever. That's beautiful right there, because I'd rather for you to do that than get out here and catch something and then start spreading all this type of diseases around. So that is a pro. We got to normalize it. It's just we're human. So we do desire sex. And it just be that way sometimes. Yeah, in the perfect world, you would want to be with one person in a relationship, married, but sometimes they don't go that way. So yes, that is a pro. Just, you got to get one off.
Yeah. All right. So pro number 3, done right and safely. It's a nice thing to have someone that you can call for your human needs, for your sexual healing when you need healing sexually. Could I be more awkward? So yes. All right. I love it. I love it. Any other pros, Bree?
No, I'm kind of wondering in the situationship as a pro if you would feel desirable probably more because you're not technically in the relationship with the person. So it's almost like, hey, somebody could possibly snatch you up off of this little thing that we're doing. Let me make sure that, yeah, I give you time. It might not be too much time, but enough time where, I'm still interested in you in some way, shape, or form. So maybe, you're desired a little bit more in a situationship than you are in a relationship. Because I think once you get into a relationship, it's like, now you're comfortable. you know I'm here, you know you got me, you know we're both invested in one another and we're not going anywhere. So I don't have to step up to the plate and show you my attraction to you or my longing for you.
Okay. A situationship can keep the slow burn, keep it burn a little
Right, yeah, a little stronger.
maybe it's me, it's my problem. Sorry, Chris. This is what happens when you're with the girls. Chris is like, these horny. All right. No, I get it. That makes sense. It may like keep like the spark going a little, or like kind of like keep the chase, with that first 3 months of a relationship, but that
Yeah.
lasts a little longer because then anytime I could find somebody, be out.
Mhm.
So okay, cool. Well, now let's talk about the cons.
Okay.
The cons of being in a situation.
Come on,
Man, I'm
Chris.
gonna go. Y'all gonna dive in, man, because you both of you was kind of going in that direction. I jotted it down. You said that you can't feel bad in a situation, but you actually can because Ty, you started to bring it home, and you kind of pull back because it can become a con. But you can you can start catching feelings and friends with benefits, or a situationship. You'll be like, yo, you know what? This person kind of dope. You know what I mean? This person is like, they're lively, they're good people, sweet, kind. I'm like, yo, they got mother, qualities, and they got wifey qualities. I'm starting to develop some feelings like I'm attached to this person. And now I don't want to say we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem, but now we do got a problem because it's like, yo, now we got to step outside of those boundaries and put ourselves out there. Cause I'm like, yo, what the heart wants, man. It's longing for that. It's gonna go after that. So for me, I feel like that. I mean, I hate to call it a con, but because it could blow up in your face, but that is a con. You go into a situationship and you're like, it's just strictly, a booty calls, it's strictly sex, and then it's like, after a few months, it's like this person is kind of dope. Like I'm really feeling them, and now your feelings is tied to that situationship. So it's like, what do we do? What do we do now? I'm starting to feel this girl. I'm starting to feel this man. Do we, step beyond that line and go into a serious relationship, or keep it this way and, sit with them feelings for, whatever, man. But I feel like that's a con. Your feelings can't get, attached to a person.
Yeah. That's the tricky. That's when you start going into the gray area where it's like, all right, so and I have that down as a con. It can clash with what you actually want. Because you have some people who are naturally they operate better when they're in relationships. So right now, this situationship is working because I'm focused on my job or I'm focused on my brand and we're just doing life. You're doing your life, I'm doing my life, and then we're doing life together. And it's like, I like this partnership. I like having this person around. Like this person comes with great ideas. The energy is amazing. And now it's like, what are we doing? What are we really doing? Now we're looking for the trajectory, right? How do we align? Like, we can't do this forever. I think, yeah, you do start to desire that person, especially if the intimacy is good. You're like, I don't want nobody else to get this right here. Like, this is mine. Like, I was good with it being, friends with benefits, but I want more. I want all the benefits to myself. That's definitely a con. And I would also add, you start analyzing more instead of relaxing and enjoying the flow. Now you find yourself trying to fit this piece of puzzle into your puzzle. Like, how can I make this make sense? And I think, especially if it's only one person that's feeling like that, where the other person's just like, oh, I love this. Now you start having those clashes, those issues. So, yeah, I would say if it goes against with what it is that you actually want long term, it's a con. And if you start analyzing the whole picture now more because you want to fit them into your life, it becomes a con where situationship might not be for you.
Yeah.
It's hollow at the end of the day. Like it's seriously, I mean, if we could be a hundred, be real with this, it leads to nothing at the end of the day. Like it's just hollow ground. Yeah, it feels good in the moment, but I really feel like, when people, begin to mature, it don't matter if you're 20 or 30, even 40, 50 or whatever, because we all, we're at different stages of life and different situations or whatever. But when wise up and you start maturing, it's like, this leads to nothing. Like you said, Bree, you start analyzing things. I'm like, you know what? I need more out of life, and so it's like, you're looking, it's like, this is a dead end at the end of the day. It becomes something that started out as a thrill, it becomes like a dead end. And it's like, okay, what we gonna do now? You gonna bang the U-turn and, go down the tunnel of light, or you gonna, just keep ramming into this dead end piece, man. It feels good in them first 3 months, but we look up, a year has passed and it's like, okay, what we doing, man? So it's the hollow piece too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm hearing the cons are, just to recap, feelings get involved. When feelings get involved, especially with one person, right? That makes it harder. Then it's the clash with what you want. And I would put that under confusion, right? That's the lack of clarity that starts to happen in a situationship. It almost is like a formula, right? It sometimes is like one person catches feelings, they become confused, then they want more, and then it starts feeling hollow, situationship dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that clear, it's that clear that, because I asked myself, I was like, with all of the cons, and the cons are pretty good, why aren't situationships more successful in some ways, right? And then I just like through this conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, because there's a formula of how it's like, what do you call that thing? That domino effect that is always going to happen. It's the rule, not the exception. There are some situationships that do turn into relationships, right? But I think the main thing is if you're one person starts to catch feelings, that's the domino effect.
Right. Yeah.
That's the domino effect with the situationships. Yeah.
If both parties started to catch feelings, then now we're
That's
leading.
relationship. Yes.
Exactly. And it goes back to, like I said, the communication that you have when you're in this situationship. Where, for example, if we have the conversation of, okay, what is it that you want long term? And your long term matches my long term, then it's like, okay, what we're doing is working for us because we know together we are focusing on a goal where long-term relationship is there. That's what we both want. But if there's no communication, I think in any situation, the foundation is not going to be solid. And it's only going to last but so long.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that to your point, Bree, I guess we could go into like, if you decide to ever enter one, I think that's a great thing to ask yourself. Both of you both have that conversation and say, what are we really looking for? And if there's any parts of you at any point, I would also say keep the communication going, right? Because that will help avoid hurting someone's feelings. Because in the first month, I may be cool, but in 3 months, I may fall in love.
Right.
But I may fall. So just keep that line of communication open. And if you're at any point are not on the same, she's like, well, I am kind of ready for a relationship. And he's like, well, I am not. Then that may be the time to pause and rethink whether this particular setup that you have with this person can continue. But if you start off with, I really want a relationship, but there's nobody out there for me right now, this will do. I caution those people because I'm like, okay, but you're to your point, Bree, the clash is gonna happen. At some point, it's gonna happen. It may happen with him, which will inevitably turn into a big, messy whatever the way it's supposed to happen without him. And you might find someone and then you're like, thank you for the 5 months. I got a man now, that may happen. But again, that is the rule. That is the exception, not the rule. Because usually that pattern of catch feelings, no clarity, feeling hollow. Now my feelings are hurt. Gotta go break up. I found myself there. So
Question. How would someone handle being in a situationship when it's clear that there's multiple people involved? Like you're just not in a situationship with you and John. You are in a situationship with John and Mark and Sam and Julie because you're just trying to figure out which one works. How is one supposed to handle something like that? Like if you know you're in a situationship with multiple people, maybe the others are just focusing on you. How does that work? How do you handle that?
I'm confused because with a situation,
Situationships are not designed to be in just with two people. It can be with multiple people because there's really no commitment, right?
right? So what are you're asking? Like, how do you juggle multiple people?
Both. How do you
Pretty
juggle
much.
multiple people, but also be on the receiving end if you're not the only person that they're in a situationship?
This was something my therapist always says. She's like, if we just treated people the way we want to be treated, we would avoid a lot of things. So I say that to say, if I'm in a situationship and I got multiple situationships, I can't be worried about how on my receiving end because it's like that's really none of my business, I guess, right? Isn't that the point to be like just sex, right? Like just this.
I think it would be my business because if I was in that situationship, I'm like, listen, okay, me and you, we got our thing going on, but I'm like, if you creeping with somebody else, you dipping with somebody else, let me know because I need to know. You said it earlier, and this is why it's so important to have a dating coach on.
Yeah.
You said it best, like that communication is key, and you're right. Your therapist is correct. Treat people how you want to be treated. So if you out here juggling, be upfront. If you feeling somebody else, if you feeling Mark over Chris, let me know so I ain't got to be wasting my time no more, man. So I mean, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I'm approaching 40. I ain't gonna, ask y'all age, but I do feel like, we're, 80 babies or something like that, man. So we've been around the players. We done seen, cats juggle multiple women. We done seen women juggle multiple men, and not in a bad way, but we trying to figure out who's the best fit for us. You know what I mean? So you go on those multiple dates or whatever. At least that's what I gathered from Bree. When you're in a position like that, I would say just open communication.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank
Open
you.
communication. That's it at the end of the day, man. At least for me. I'm listening and I'm like, if I was in that position, I would want someone to keep it real with me. Like, let me know what's up so I ain't going in, so I'm not like, continuing on blind. I'm getting blindsided at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's because it's a lot. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy being swapped. If you're intimate with all of those people, there's a lot of risk. Like, let me know, am I the only one or are there multiple people? Because then I know how to maneuver around the situation. I don't know how many people is the golden key number for situationships. I think anything over one is too much, but that's just me. But okay, so let me ask you guys this. Why do people stay in situationships when they know they really don't want to be in it to begin with?
They've fallen for that person. That's one of the biggest reasons. It could also be that's the only option right now. So I think it depends on the person and the situation and going back to our pro where they are in life. Right. So you could be someone who, well, that's the only option right now. And situationship may not be the thing you want, but it's the thing that's available right now with this person. It might be like this person, this is the only thing that they're offering me. I'll take it. So those are the two reasons I've come across.
Yeah. And that sounds like settling. Like they're literally
Yeah, if you don't want to be in one, yes. If you don't want to be in anything, you're settling. And you're in it, you're settling. You're setting yourself up for failure. Cuz it could be like hope it will change, It might again, but that's the exception.
Chris, what are you gonna say? You look like you got something on your mind.
My bad. Yeah, nah, my puppies, they woke up and he walking around. So I'm like, if y'all hear some little paws running around, please forgive me. Oh man, it's human nature. Like we get comfortable. That settling piece, y'all nailed it with that. That's the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, we just get comfortable. And know I'm like, okay, we love routine. As humans, I think more so men, we love routine. The ins and outs, the Monday through Friday, same old, same old. We like being comfortable. And so if you got that one person and y'all been rocking like this for a hot minute, and like you said, Bree, the intimacy is good, the sex is good, and all of that. Cass is like, well, I need to leave. And hopefully she ain't cooking. You feel me? If she ain't cooking, that brother set. he will be like, listen, I ain't got to go nowhere. You know what I'm She cooking and I'm getting the intimacy piece as well. Homeboy set. But I feel like, as it's just a human trait. We just like routine, man. We like things, that are the same. We like to be comfortable, and I came for that to a degree, but that's what came to mind. I'm like, people stay in these situationships for a long period of time because they like routine and it's just comfortable, man.
Right. So Chris mentioned the whole cooking thing. So now it makes me wonder, who do situationships benefit more, men or women? Or is it just an equal thing?
I was
Yes, it benefits men more, for the obvious reasons, but I think that it's really equal. It's just about who wants. I think whoever has the least to give in that, like it benefits, right? So it's just like the person that can get away without doing more. So I guess the most lazy person, the two of them, like I like that it benefits, but I honestly think it all depends on the individual. But I could see a world where it would benefit men more. Men do fall too. Like I could see a man falling prey to falling for a girl while during a situation. You know what I mean? But does it happen often? I don't know. I don't know, Chris. What
Yeah,
you think?
Chris.
I was gonna say, man, without communication, I do feel like men have benefit more, and I do feel like that's something. I mean, Bree, you hit on something pretty good. I think that's something that does need to be discussed. It's like, okay, we're sharing meals that needs to be split. This sister's cooking, homie. Next Friday, you need to be taking us out to eat, whatever. I mean, and it could be a boundary crosser right there. Cooking and going out to eat, but it happens sometimes. It's something that should be upfront communicated up front. We need to keep this thing equal. But I do feel like men benefit more at the end of the day because naturally, I feel like women fulfill those, I guess you can say that girlfriend role or that wife role a little bit more than men are, eager to fulfill that husband role. So naturally, women are just kind of like, tap into that a little bit quicker than men.
I feel like we need to give a piece of advice to anybody in a situationship and don't know they in a situationship. So give a piece of advice to anyone who's in a situationship and might not recognize that that's what they're actually in. Because there's breadcrumbing. There's definitely breadcrumbing where someone is leading you on when they think that you're trying to basically desert the situation. They start telling, they want to spend more time with you just so that you don't get too far and call it quits. So,
Yeah.
what advice would you have for someone who is fresh into a situationship and they desire something long term and it's only been 60 days?
Go find something long term. Like it's 60 days. Yeah. Go find something long term. That's what I say. Especially if you're growing feelings for that person. And that going back to what we talked about today, like checking in, having that check in. And if someone's feelings have changed in any direction, you need to make a decision. So I would say go find a relationship that you want and believe that you'll get it. And it's hard for some. This is why I was confused earlier with the juggling, because I was like, I can't juggle more than one, and A, it doesn't feel safe. B, like, but you can't get what you need when somebody's already occupying that space on some level, and it's hard. And then we talk about energies being swapped and all of that stuff. Like, no, so you need to leave that situationship, go and really think about what you want, and go look for that, and go look for someone who wants you as much as you want them.
Yeah.
And at the same time and in the same pace, like where you have synergy. There is nothing worse than confusion in a relationship. It is when you are confused, that means you are not aligned. When you are not aligned, that means that is not where you're supposed to be. So the person you're supposed to be with, or someone that makes you feel, like clear, your position, why you're here, like this is my spot, this is where I am. That's flow, that's ease, that's alignment. So go find alignment is what I would tell them.
it's going to be kind of hard for you to sit in that position with security. Like, because you don't know, like how when Ty went over the definition, it lacks clarity. You don't know where you stand. So how can you comfortably sit in a situationship and be confident? Like, the time, the energy that I'm putting into this situation, it's something that is going to have a return value to it. Because you don't know. You don't know what may happen. They may get up the next day and be like, hey, I decided to go back to my ex, and all of that work and investment that you put into, just being on cruise control is like down the drain. So I was going to ask, but you actually answered it. I was going to ask, well, what does a long-term relationship look like? Because you said, go find a long-term relationship, find someone who wants that. What does that look like? But I kind of feel like you answered it already.
It looks like what you want. Like, write it down. There's no prescription for that. That's all like the person and individuals.
Right.
I like to tell people I work with, write it down, write it out. Like, what do
Mhm.
you want? What does he smell like? What does he look like? What does he do? Just manifest that now and then come very close to it. You ain't gonna get everything you want, but come very close to it, but write it out. Write what you want down. You know what kind of relationship you want.
And stick to it.
And to your point, while you were talking, you were saying, you can never be confident in a
Situationship.
situation. Well, you're not supposed to be. It's not meant to be a seat to be. It's not a throne. You know what I mean? It's like a folding chair. I want a throne. I want a folding chair.
Right.
Right? It's like a folding chair. You just take it. Somebody else might, like you at the barbecue, you get up, somebody got the seat. Like, it's not meant to be comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. And that's that's one of the cons, right? It's unclear. So, hey, all right. So, Coach Chris, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Will you come back into the ladies' cave? I don't know what we're gonna call this.
The ladies bed. No, this was dope, man. Great energy, lots of fun, good information, good teaching. But man, it's a lot of humor as well, man. And I really enjoyed that. Really.
Awesome. We enjoyed having you. So before we end, Coach Chris, tell us one thing you wish women would understand about men.
Yeah, that is good. Just because you want something done right then and there at that moment doesn't mean it's not going to get done. A lot of men carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They carry depression, stress, and all kinds of other things you sisters probably don't even know about because men aren't going to always express certain things. But let's say you need the trash taken out at 8 p.m. It doesn't listen, just because that man, more than likely, he's going to take it out at 8 a.m. before he goes to work. As long as it gets done, that's all that matters, man. So don't be making a big deal over minor things like that. Just know that just because you need something done at that moment, it doesn't mean that it's not going to get done. It's going to get done eventually. Just let that man breathe for a moment. Let him woosah, and he's going to take care of your every wish. Just know that. You his queen, he got you.
All right. Thank
Like
you.
it.
I love it. So Coach Chris, tell the people where they can find you and what you're working on, and then Bree, and then I'll close us out.
Man, you guys can find me on Facebook, Christopher Henson, Life Coach _ Chris on IG and LinkedIn, Christopher Henson. What I'm working on, man, is a lot. Events, speaking engagements, and also, just pushing a movement of men's fellowship breakfasts, man. So my first one jumps off May 2nd in Boston. I'm looking to push it to New York, looking to push it to Philly, Richmond, Baltimore, etc. Down in the South in ATL and Texas as well. But you guys be on the lookout for that, man. So everything that's surrounded around conversation and good vibes, I'm trying to get that out there.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, it is your girl Simplee Bree, and I am always excited to be up here with Single and the Coach as the single. If you feel like you have learned something today, please drop it down in the chat. Have you ever been in a situationship? Let us know. Have you been in a cutting buddy? Like, what's the transition like for you? You can find me across all social media at I am Simplee Bree, and you can also check out my website, iamsimplybree.com, for more information about what I got going on. And just vibe with me, vibe with Chris, vibe with Ty, and make sure you subscribe to the He Said What Network so that you know when we post more content. So with that being said, we're going to take it on over to Ty.
Hey. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you to our guest, Coach Chris, for just hanging with us, giving us some good vibes, giving us some good conversation and some good advice. So for me, y'all can follow me at Ty the Matchmaker on all things social media. I have a dinner coming up. It's a fine dining dinner with a West African chef here in New York City. It's a 5-course meal. It's going to be great people, great conversation where strangers turn into friends and maybe more. So yeah, I hope you will join us and follow me on social media to get all the details. But thank you everyone for joining us today, and we will see you next time on Single and Coach. I'm Ty, I'm your coach.
I'm Simplee Bree. I'm the single.
And we will catch you in 2 weeks with another episode. Bye, y'all.
Bye.